Hello, this is a comparison between a Yamaha U1F made in 1970 and a new Feurich 122. The Yamaha U1H made from about 1972 to 1980 is our benchmark on our common makes in the UK page, where we try to rate pianos, and we give a benchmark 65 out of 100, which is good. So this is a Yamaha U1F, very similar really to U1H, and we're going to try and assess it. First of all, we have an assessment sheet here just to see what sort of work might need to do on it. And touch weight here 54 to 56 grams. Now I've already lubricated the action and done other work on it as well, but particularly try to reduce the weight. So we reduced it down by about 2 grams to 54 to 56 grams. And other things we're going to do on it is some of these I've done already, which these notes are a bit on the bright side, and regulating the capstans. Now that's something I noticed that we need to do as well, just a slight regulation. So although this piano has been fully refurbished on the outside and the inside too, as we'll see, it is in pretty perfect condition. We're looking mostly at touch and tone though, and that's really cosmetic, the work that's been done, I think mostly anyway. And these are cat's clips, by the way. You might want those on. Yamaha music stands are very thin, as we mentioned before, and it's difficult to put book holders on. So if you want book holders, these are ideal. The Feurich's a new piano, so obviously cosmetically is good. And looking at the music stand here, it's actually thicker. It's made of wood, and there is enough room to put book holders, so you could put book holders on here. The cost is roughly the same, because the work it takes to make sure we don't damage the case when we do it is almost equal to the price of the new cat's clips. Looking at the pianos cosmetically, as I say, they're both extremely good. I don't want to look at touch and tone, so just have a quick listen without the front on this Feurich. That's the main area you're going to play the piano in, so you start off with that, and perhaps the tenor. And then the bass. Bottom bass, it's nice to have a strong bottom bass, but it's less important than the middle, obviously, and these are extremely good for new pianos of this size. By the way, we do also do work on new Feurichs as well. We often find they need a little bit of voicing there, not usually regulation. And touch weight is slightly less on this piano. That's the kind of touch weight. It's a bit more accurate on a brand new piano than it will be on a piano made in 1970. Light voicing and regulation. Oh yes, the set off I wanted to reduce. I'll just show you that as well. So listen to the Yamaha in the middle area. And the tenor. Let's compare that with the Feurich on the bass. And the Yamaha. Now I've taken the fronts off the piano. It's going to look at one or two construction differences, but we've gone through this on another video, the difference between the U3 actually and the 122. The bass strings are longer on the Feurich, so we're going to have a stronger bass. But I want to look at some of these too. That's plastic. This is the Yamaha. Now there's absolutely nothing wrong with the piano in a sense, but for a technician's point of view, we're going to see the difference with the Feurich. This has got two washers here. When you take this off, this is plastic, and those washers really aren't that necessary. If you're a technician, you might like to comment. And they're just, let's say, a nuisance to put on and off. And this wing nut to take the Celeste off. We've mentioned this before, so I don't want to go too long about it. Also, this is made of aluminium here, and the jack here is plastic. But that's common for all Yamahas. The Feurich is a lot more technician friendly. You see, we had plastic on the Yamaha. This is metal. Oh, there's another very important point actually. This is much more like a traditional piano. If you see where the pedals rod, this is really for technicians, I suppose, rather than. But if your technician loves the piano because they like the way it's constructed, that helps. But this is, sorry, there we are, it's in focus now. You see the pedal rod, that's a traditional style with the pedal rod coming up to the lever there that pulls the dampers off. And the pedal rod on the Yamaha and a lot of modern pianos has to be located inside there. And every time you pull the action out, you've got to relocate it. That might not sound, if you're trying to pull the action in and out all the time, it is a nuisance. And I think technicians would probably agree with me. And that also on the front there, you can see it's also got to be located inside. So on the front, sorry, we have the half blow mechanism, and that also has to be located on the Yamaha. Obviously not related to the touch and tone particularly, but just related to serving the technician. And we've mentioned this so many times before about lifting out the Celeste, just comes straight out with O-wick nut, so I won't mention that again. And by the way, the action rail is wooden as well, which you can see laminated wood, so they've thought an awful lot about the construction and made it quite traditional. These are wooden and not plastic. So a lot of modern pianos have plastic on. It does work well, it's not so much a problem, but nice to think their thinking is traditional. Let's listen to the pianos with the front off. And the Yamaha. So I realised I didn't play the Feurich at the top end. The Yamaha. Now, although it's 1970, this Yamaha, there's very, very little wear on that hammer. It has been cleaned off. I mentioned before. I've made a video of this piano with the 3 other U1s that we have in stock as well, just a comparison. And really, they're all got the same amount of hammer wear, very, very little. I mentioned on the Feurich that we want to do a bit of regulation. This is C that has been regulated. Getting as close as possible to the string when it's pushed without playing it is what we want to try and achieve. So if you look at the one next to it, this is B on the left and C. You can see that C gets closer. There's not a huge difference in it, but obviously top quality pianos, the regulation should be as accurate as possible, and it will enable you to play slightly quieter if we play both these notes together. You see the C came first, so just a little bit more sensitive. The Yamaha's already regulated to be as sensitive as it gets. It won't get any closer than that. It's not going to perform properly otherwise. That's just the regulation button on the action here for regulating that. And if I want to regulate it, I put the tool on the top and turn it one way or the other. But if you've got a very old piano, by the way, make sure it's freed off before you turn it by heating up or something similar, because they can easily break on old pianos. Even giving this half a turn on this one causes it to not work properly. Here we see the one next to it. This is working properly. So as you push it towards the string, it pulls back. And this one turned it out of regulation, not pulling off the string. Now regulated properly, the jack pulls out. You can see this button pulling the jack out here. And then the hammer, if we look at it, it's pulling off, even if played very quietly. When it's played quietly, it might bounce a little bit. You really want to get it as close as possible. That's probably a bit too much bounce, so just regulating a bit more here. Let's try. But the main thing is it doesn't hit the string twice, and it checks here, so we want it to check nicely as well. So that's a comparison between this U1F made in 1970 and a new Feurich 122. a very delightful piano to play. I'd rate it, I think, very similarly to the U1H that we mentioned before as our benchmark. If you're not able to visit us and would like to buy a piano and are worried about buying it without seeing it, then that's understandable. Please write to us, info@robertspianos.com, and we'll try and describe it as well as we possibly can and compare it with others. Let's compare that then with the Feurich 122. So this is the new Feurich 122. Now there's good things to say about both pianos really. They're both very, very good pianos. The bass is definitely more powerful on this piano. Touch, very similar quality on both. I mentioned before that new pianos need their hammers to be worn in a bit. The Yamaha's obviously got a great advantage in that sense, although it has been refaced, so we've had to voice it quite a bit. Very warm tenor on this piano. I hope that's been useful to listen to both pianos together. Both new pianos and the Yamaha, well, our favourite period really is from 1966 to 1985 approximately for Yamahas. Obviously there are good ones after that and probably before that too. The Feurichs vary as well, so just because it's a new piano it doesn't mean to say they're all going to be the same, and we often have to do bits of work on them. I'll just go back to the U1 briefly, and I'll put links at the bottom as well so you can skip to where the pianos are being played if you want to. So here's the U1 again, just briefly. Thank you very much for listening.